let's do this too, is that you know how some people, well, I'll say this. When I used to work at my last job, and every time something would happen, people would come up to my desk and say, Camille, you know what? You know, I know you pray. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but you can try it. Or some people would be like, Camille, I heard you over there on the phone. Somebody from your church called and you started praying. I mean, does this stuff really work? Doesn't everything just kind of work out anyway? Why put so much effort in praying? And I said, you know what? And that's been ringing in my spirit for a while now, because people really don't think that God can move anymore. They just think, oh, the universe will take care of everything. And I literally hate that phrase. But that's what people think. The universe will take care of it. We don't have to do anything. We can just wake up and go on about our day, and what's supposed to happen will happen. And that is so far from the truth, because God is a God that can upset the natural order of things when it comes to his children. He's one of those kind of gods that if you seek him while he may be found, that he can turn around the whole situation, and you couldn't say anything but God. No one else could have did this but God. You don't tell me about the universe. Don't tell me about a Big Bang theory. This had to be God, because no one else and nobody else can explain what just took place. And that's what I want to talk about tonight, is because seek him while he may be found too is really, really pivotal, because the part of while he may be found, to me too, gives an idea of at some point he won't. And what is that at some point he won't? That some point that he won't is when you stop breathing. You know, people tell me all the time, well, Camille, I don't know if God's going to give me another chance or not. And I'll tell them, well, I know the answer to that. Well, what's the answer? He is. Well, how do you know? Because you're still breathing. If there was no other chance for you, if there was no destiny for you, if nothing else was going to happen to you, you'd be going on home. But because you are still breathing, there are some things that's going to take place in your life. There are some destinies that need to be fulfilled. But you have to first seek him while he may be found. And to me, that is like, wow, people. I have so many messages just off that one title. I'm sure you can see that I'm a little excited, because I can take that so many ways. I can. But I really want to refute the idea of that the universe will just take care of itself. That we don't even really need God. All we have to, those Christians that get all religious, and it's not even really needed. We can just go on about our day. Everything's going to take care of itself. And it's so not true. But before I go any further, as I said, we're going to have a foundation in Esther on tonight. Let me do my shared screen here for you guys. Okay, so we're in Esther 4, 12 through 17. And just to give a little background before we start reading, I don't know if anybody's read Esther. I'm sure some of the people here on our group has, but if you have not, the background before this starts is that Haman, who was, I believe, the second in command to the king at this point, had made a decree that on a certain day, all the Jews were supposed to be killed. Okay? And this was a big thing, because once the king made an order, it could not be revoked. What he said went. If you didn't like it, oh well, the king himself could not change an order. So if he put his signet ring to that order, that was it. Okay? So if the king's order said all the Jews were supposed to be wiped out, that was going to happen. Or I'll say this, that was going to be the natural order of things. You are going to be wiped out because this is what it said. Okay? So we're going to start at 12 here. It says so before this, Mordecai had sent word to Queen Esther asking her what she could do to help to speak to the king. And at first she didn't want to because she was afraid, because you couldn't even step to the king unless he requested an audience with you. So going to him was not something she wanted to do, okay? That could mean her dying. He could have her killed on the spot. So we're going to start at 12. When Esther's words were reported to Mordecai, he sent back this answer. Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place. But you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. So then Esther sent this reply to Mordecai. Go gather together all the Jews who are in Susa and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my attendants will fast as you do. When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law, and if I perish, I perish. So Mordecai went away and carried out all of Esther's instructions. So this is like, wow, guys. Okay, so the natural order of things is that king made that decree. It cannot be revoked. So this is the way it is. So the only thing that can revoke this is God. And that is who she's seeking. Because nothing else can revoke what the king has said. All right? So we're going to go to the next one here. Hold on one second. Here we are. And this is going to start at 5. All right. So it says, on the 3rd day, Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the palace in front of the king's hall. Now, the king was sitting on his royal throne in the hall facing the entrance. When he saw Queen Esther standing in the court, he was pleased with her and held out to her the gold scepter that was in his hand. So Esther approached and touched the tip of the scepter. Okay, so then the king asked, what is it, Queen Esther? What is your request? Even up to half the kingdom, it will be given to you. Now, wow. Because let me tell you, that doesn't just happen. Not in that country. So if she had not sought the Lord while he may be found, the natural order of things was the Jews was going to be wiped out. But she had to seek him so that he can overrule things that were going on. And how many times does things like this take place in our lives? How many times do we need God to overrule the natural order of things? How many times do we get sick and we seek him and people are healed? So the doctors have no idea what happened. They couldn't even explain it. Why? Because God overruled the natural order of things. How many times have people told you no, that you're never going to make it, or even me, no, you'll never have a child? And then I prayed, and then God overruled the natural order of things, and I was pregnant. See, this is what I'm talking about. So this is how it knocks out that theory, oh, just let the universe take care of everything. No, you have a God that is more than able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all we could ever ask or think. But here, sometimes we think that prayer is not going to work. Or, you know what? I prayed about this job one time, and you know what? God didn't give it to me, so I know prayer don't work. Or when I prayed for this man in my life and God didn't give it to me, I prayed real hard too. I had a pure heart. So why didn't God give me this man? Okay, I can answer that. You know how many times I prayed for a man and God didn't give it to me, and then I turned out he got with somebody else. And then I saw how he treated her, and you know what I said? Thank you, Jesus. Because that's not what I needed. But because we don't get what we want, we think there is no God. We think that the God of the Old Testament is not the God of this New Testament. He's the same God. Back in the day, he wasn't saying yes to everything they wanted either. But because this was what's best for them, he will override some things. Here's a good one. How many times have you had a car accident where you should have went off the road, but you didn't? The natural order of things would say, hey, she's supposed to be in that ditch and she's supposed to be dead. But people riding around, coming around the car like, wow, how is she alive? Because God overruled the natural order of things. And that is what I want to get to you guys tonight, is that sometimes we seek happiness instead of God. Okay? Let me tell you what I mean by that. We'll start praying for God to come into our life because we really want him to change this situation and do what we want. So if God doesn't give me what I want, then there must not be a God. Well, you know what? If God didn't heal my mom when I prayed, then there must not be a God. If God didn't touch this man to treat me right, but I had to end up in divorce, then there must not be a God. All because I sought him for happiness and did not seek him for who he was. Because how do we know what true happiness is? How many relationships have we had that went wrong? And we thought that was going to make us happy. How many times have we had certain jobs that we thought, you know what, I'm going to really be happy now. And then there was emptiness after it. How many situations where we have gotten, we thought that this was just going to make us happy and we're just going to sit free now. It was never enough. But we sought God to bring this about. So now that's it. But here's the thing. If he doesn't bring it about, then he must not be real. How many times have you told your child no? Or how many times did your parents tell you no? Did that make you not have a parent? They're still your parents. They just told you no, right? But in the back of your mind, even though you're upset, you know your parents love you. And I'll just use myself. My mother, well, I should say my father told me no a lot, okay? And every time I would ask him, Dad, why can't I do what other kids do? I'm tired of this. And he says, because I love you. And I'm like, love me less. Please, love me less. I want to have a life, okay? Don't love me so much. But to him, he was doing what he knew to be right for me. Now, even though he didn't give me what he wanted, it still did not make him my father. At the end of the day, when I got through being mad, he was still Dad. So at the end of the day, if God don't give you what you want, he is still God. But he is going to love you regardless. Here's the thing about God. He will even take the chance to look bad just to tell you no, to do what's best for you. He will do that. I tell people all the time, my mom was always telling me, why are you always telling Daniel no? And I was like, well, why don't you tell him no? Well, I want him to like me. Well, I'm not concerned about him liking me. I'm concerned about his well-being because I said I loved him. If you love somebody, it's not about them liking you. It's about you doing what's best for you and them, for the relationship. And because God is who he is, He's going to do what's best for you. It doesn't matter if you like him or not. It doesn't matter if he happens to look bad. He don't care. He's going to do what's best for you, regardless. So if he says no, he's still God. So when we seek him, let's not seek him. Here's a good example. Okay, God, I saw a house I want. Now I'm faithful and I know that I have favor, so I should get this house. So if I don't get the house, does that mean that I stop believing in God? No, because I know his character. His character says, if I don't give you the house, baby, it's not for you. It's not what you need. But I'm still God and I'm still good. At the end of the day, my son knows, even if I tell him no, he knows that's mom. And that's how we should be about God. Don't seek happiness, seek God, because he knows what's going to truly make you happy. Only he knows that. So if you seek him, if you seek the creator and not the created, that will bring you true happiness. Because if you only seek him for his hand, you will never know true happiness. You have to seek him for who he is. Then you will have that abundant life. Then when he blesses you with the house, when he blesses you with the job, when he blesses you with the spouse, boyfriend, or whatever it is you want to say, then you will be happy because you know God did it. So as I say, seek God while he may be found, but seek God, not happiness, because you don't know what's going to make you happy. Here's a statement as I was researching for this class tonight that I saw that really got me. Hold on, I want to read this real quick. But it's talking about how your relationship with Jesus is a personal relationship. When Jesus says, come to me, he never says, come and join the church. Come and be baptized. Come and give me money. The church, the baptism, tithes, all that are just extra. He is what you need. That's why he simply says, come unto me and you will be filled. What are you going to be filled with? Jesus himself. So if you are hungry, come and eat the bread of life. If you are thirsty, come and drink the water of life. If you are weary, come and find rest. And if you are guilty, come and be forgiven. Because that is who he is. That is the Jesus that you should know. Everything else is a plus. Now, my family, my husband, my son, my father-in-law, my nephew, everybody that I know here in this house, which is a blessing to me, is all a plus. I need Jesus. I love them, and they are my blessings, but they are a plus. I need Jesus in this life to make it. I tell my son all the time. One time he told me, Mama, well, I don't know what I would do if something happened to you. I said, oh, you're going to be fine, because the only thing you need is Jesus. Because I don't want you so dependent on me that you can't make it when I leave. Because yes, it's nice to have mommy around, but the only thing you need is Jesus to make it. So sometimes, you know what, people go through relationships and jobs and bad things happen, and we just want to take our life because the situation went wrong or somebody walked away or this didn't go right and I don't know if I can handle it. I don't know if I really need them. No, you don't. You need God. That is what you need. Everybody else is a plus. Everybody else is a blessing. So as I said, seek God and not happiness, because he knows what it's going to take to make you truly happy. He knows what it's going to take to give you what you truly need. He says, come to me. He has everything you need. If you want to know how you're going to make it on this earth, Jesus is how you going to make it. They can take your job tomorrow. The person you love so much can walk out on you tomorrow. Your house can be taken tomorrow. But Jesus, you will always have. Jesus is all you need. And I really want that to get into people's spirits right now, because a lot of people are dealing with heartache. A lot of people are dealing with situations and they're wanting to take their own life. That hits me. Situations aren't going the way they want. Some people are getting sick and they just rather say, you know what, forget it. I can't handle this. And here's the thing, no, you can't. But God can. You can do everything with him. Right before we started the message, every time on Tuesdays, right before class, I always get real anxious. And I always get to the point to where I just want to quit. I can't even speak. And then I told my husband that tonight. I'm like, here it is again, babe. I'm going through it again. And I told him I just don't know if I can do it tonight. And he said, yes, you can, because it's not going to be you. That's God. When we put ourselves in the equation, no, we can't. But with God, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. So it doesn't matter what limitations I have. It doesn't matter what I don't have or lack. If I have Jesus, I have all I need. I have an abundant life with just him. So I don't know who needs to hear this tonight within this class or whoever's going to watch this video from tomorrow on. But I want to tell you that whatever you're going through, you can make it.